These minimap icons so tiny. It's like watching a bunch of ants play baseball. Jesus.
Console it up, man.
I'm afraid. I don't know what the console hotkey. Okay. So anyway, let's look at the lanes here. It looks like Virtus Pro.
It's playing baseball.
Please use soundproof headsets. Oh, they're talking about the teams. Oh, okay. I thought they were talking. I was just like, okay. So, let's see what these ants are doing. Looks like somebody's not using their headsets, Merlini. Uh-oh. We need to call get the commissioner in here. Watch out.
I'm too far to beat them down with my baton.
1-800 Merlini. I'm not sure he brought the police uniform. So, okay, Virtus Pro. They'll have Sadoy head to the off lane. He's on the Nature's Prophet here. We've got Yol on the Ogre Magi. He's roaming around to get things started. Looks like we'll have a pause to make sure all these headsets are in place. G will take the Lycan. He'll be headed towards the mid lane, and it will be a safe lane. Presumably a try as Ogre rotates up. That's BZZ on the core Veno. Jotum supporting on the Jakiro here. And yeah, we already saw Big Fatty Ogre. Boots first, and starting down bottom to grab this rune.
G.
You want to introduce the Radiant side here, Merlini, or you want to just sit back and take a snoozer?
I'm checking them out.
All right, he's checking them out. Well, we got a Treant down here, the little little green ice cream cones here. Need another sec.
I prefer. They look more like
crazy.
Christmas trees, man.
Huh?
Christmas trees.
Yes, Christmas trees. They do actually look like Christmas trees. They're pretty cute. They look like.
They look like evil Christmas trees, though.
Yeah. You ever see that movie Harry and the Hendersons? They look kind of like
no
Christmas tree version of Harry. All right, well, forget it.
I can use my imagination.
It's a 90s reference. Thought you'd get it. They're really letting me down here. Well, it'll be Venscore on the Skywrath mage. We'll see Havost on the Farming Mirana. No surprise here to see Dendi solo mid on the Fairy Dragon. And the 2-1-2 from Na'Vi with FNG on the Sand King and Funnick off lane on the Faceless Void. Stout Shield first and some tangos with the Healing Salve to get things started.
Man, Yol trying to go with a sneaky play. See him drop this Observer Ward right here in the mid lane. He's like right next to the T1 tower. Like, just doesn't want his ward to be scouted out.
Yeah.
And he has a smoke to his name too. Trying to be all sneaky. See what he does with it.
Yeah, Ogre not known for his sneakiness, as he is a rather girthy fellow, but sometimes he can sneak around. There you go. Ward comes down, right in vision of the Radiant Observer, and they might be able to counter this. Do they have any sentries? FNG doesn't have any. Venscore neither. So that ward will stay standing for a little while. Perhaps some will come out onto the courier.
Funnick with an Invis rune, just looking to leech some experience. He also has a nice ward set up there, so he should be completely safe.
Yep, he'll only be able to leech a little bit as he eats his way into the trees. Chews through a tango already, but in a safe little spot here, finding that cubby, and we'll just be leeching as you mentioned. Mid lane, Dendi should have a pretty good time against G.
Oh, they know he's there. He's pinged out.
Uh-oh.
You can. I think he saw him get a level, maybe.
This could be a little scary. Jakiro still hasn't skilled up anything, but Funnick does have that first point in time walk. Doesn't have a lot of range on it, so Jotum will just wiggle his way through the tree line.
They know he's level 2, so Jotum's like, where in the world is he? Oh, he's going to go in.
All right, they'll find him here. First hit time walk on the Jotum. What is this RNG? Funnick will just walk back to safety, takes a liquid fire, but oh baby, that's a good way for it to get started. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Yol gets jumped on. FNG goes in with the Burrow Strike. Havost is here throwing in the right clicks. There are the Dubs chasing him down. There's your first blood. Havost connects with an arrow. As you can hear, the crowd goes wild.
Man, even the super tanky Ogre can't compete with this.
Yeah, this is a scary tri lane. So much damage and just an easy setup there. They used the arrow as a finisher. They didn't even need the setup. And not a bad way for Na'Vi to get started. It was Havost that got the finishing blow, so finds himself a pretty penny out of it.
Yeah, probably needs a Stout Shield if he expects to tank that full combo.
Yep.
Man, so look at Dendi, just orbing into mid lane too, trying to zone out G.
Yeah, being very aggressive, and it's working pretty well. G finding some decent CS out of the gate, but Dendi still being the lane bully here with that null tally. 3 branches going for maximum stats as we see some rotations on both sides of the coin. Yol coming in, getting pinged out. Fire Blast connects on Dendi, but what's the follow-up here? We'll just be able to orb, phase shift to safety. FNG on his way in. Burrow Strike at the ready with those boots, but, well, just going to be here to intimidate the Ogre. Make sure Dendi has plenty of space to farm.
Funnick also going with the aggressive build in the 1-0-2, trying to time lock some dragons up in here.
Wow.
That's very aggressive versus a dual lane with a lot of damage.
Yeah, I like the value point in backtrack. I see a lot of Voids these days skipping it and just going for the raw damage, the more aggressive build, but I think it's hard to argue against just the one value point with the super evasion that even dodges spells.
How's he going to be an RNG lord, man?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you gotta roll the dice sometimes, I guess. Well, off lane, that's the big disparity here. Funnick not really finding much in the way of last hits with Sadoy, man. He's racking up the farm, 13-1 already. Not really stopping Vost from farming too much, but not finding free farm either, and getting out farmed by the safe lane of Virtus Pro fairly handily. So even though Navi got the first blood, Virtus Pro doing pretty well in this initial laning phase.
That's awkward in the mid lane. FNG, Yol duking it out.
Uh-oh, gets stunned in the tower. Yol maybe in some trouble here. Orb from Dendi. That Ogre's tanky. Who am I kidding? FNG coming in, but Skyrat, he's on his way. There's your long-range nuke. One more auto attack from the puck, but the uphill miss. Gonna keep him safe. Now Dendi forced the orb back to safety, and no blood will be shed in this mid lane skirmish.
Looks like Navi will be able to scare both 4-minute runes with that, though. FNG taking down the bottom. See Skyrath protecting the top, but looks like Dendi might actually get it. This Wolf.
Oh, Van score? No, looks like the Wolf will be able to finish off the haste rune. And FNG will keep the bottom room safe. FNG also getting a bit of ward victory. Does put down the sentry, that ward that we talked about earlier on. They will finally make use of it. So a little bit of vision control going the way of the Radiant. Good news there for Navi.
And Jotum is forced to spend the majority of his time zoning out Funnick in this 2-on-1 situation, and Funnick is still getting very good experience, and Jotum can't even pull. So I'd say all in all, Navi's winning all 3 lanes.
Yeah, looking pretty solid. The Venoman's just racking up some farm. I'll be curious to see what he goes for. Probably the early mech, especially if they want to start racking up the push. Although they could put a pipe on him and prioritize the mech on the Nature's Prophet. That's something we've been seeing at an increasing frequency lately, though it seems double null tally and boots will be Sadoy's opener.
Is it going to be triple null tally?
How many null tally will he go, Merlini? What is the ideal number?
1 or 3.
Not 2? Never 2? Gotta go with the odd numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably see the Lycan go for an early Vlad. No big surprise about that. But look at these teams rocking the Dusky the Husky flying around. Good choice, boys.
Doomling on the other side. Well, VP not really in a position to group up yet. Not high enough liquid fire on Jakiro. Probably needs at least level 5 on his hero for that. Nature's Prophet only level 5 as well, and Lycan probably wants level 7 until they start pushing up. But that's the earliest that they want to do it. If they're still getting good farm in their lanes, then why not? They're down by 1 kill, but all in all, they're still farming fantastically well. Gold lead 1,000 for VP.
Yeah, I think if they can find an easy rotation to move into a lane and look to get a gank and then push a tower off of it, that's great. But if it's not an easy rotation, no need to force it. Wait for the mech, wait for perhaps the Vlads on the Lycan, get those early pushing items, and then look to group up and take the team fight. Navi probably won't have an early mech.
Uh-oh, Yol in mid.
Uh-oh. Dendi will get stunned up and does not find the rune here. Ogre grabs himself the bounty, but there's your Dream Coil. Funnick coming in. Yol looking to TP home. That won't happen. It's a kill for the puck, and that'll make it 2-0.
GG, 2 points in bash right there.
RNG's is flying through here, Merlini. Lady Luck is with Funnick tonight.
He's a bash lord.
Yeah, so far at least. Moonlight Shadow's been deployed, and Funnick will use that to leech a little experience up top, but time walks away after taking a poison sting. And, well, a rotation from him, much worth it. Halfway through level 5, so soon that Chronosphere will be online, and the hopes of Virtus Pro finding a gank on him diminish.
Sadoy's been playing very well in the bottom lane. Not really dying, not really getting in a good position to die either, using his treants to constantly scout and picking up tons of stats. Oh, trying to TP behind and kill Funnick.
Yeah, perfect time to do it. He does have a time walk, but no chrono. There's your Sprout to come out. And Funnick, he'll just stand his ground for now, looking for a bash on Sadoy. Doesn't get it, but...
That love tap.
Yeah. Heads back to safety. So now the wards will start to stack up. They've got the pine needles. The little Christmas trees coming into the tower, and this could be that easy rotation we were talking about. Part of the power of that Nature's Prophet finds his level 6 also, so does have some burst potential here. If Navi choose to make a defense. Still have a glyph.
Yol on bottom. He looks like he's in some danger.
Nah, Ogre's going to make it back, but Navi, they don't even glyph it. They let the tower fall, and Virtus Pro further their gold lead that much more, now upwards of almost 1,500.
Not following your mantra of glyph it or ticket.
Glyph it or ticket, dude, you got it. Hashtag efficiency. Hashtag Merliniisms.
That's not my saying. That's your saying. And they're just going to continue on. Navi showed no signs of resistance for that one.
Yeah. And look at this, BCZ moves right into a point booster, so I'm a little surprised to see him not prioritizing a mech. Vonic, Ice Path, but chances of a kill here pretty slim. Still doesn't have his chrono, but time walk available. They'll just poke at him, and if Na'Vi don't react to this, Virtus Pro are happy just to move into this tier 2 tower. They're not expecting to get much damage here, but anything they can do, they'll consider a victory.
It is rather interesting that he is going for the point booster. I can understand, yes, you want to survive the burst from Sand King and or Faceless Void and or Skywrath and or Puck, but at the same time, a mech will help your team survive in case you don't get focused, and Veno is typically not the target of choice.
Yeah. Oh, down bottom, Yol gets hit by an arrow from Havos. Will catch the tail end of it as he dives the tower. Hastrun online. Ends up being an easy pick, and Na'Vi will pull ahead 3-0 in hero kills, but Virtus Pro still putting some pressure on this top lane. They'll take it down past half health, and again, no reaction from Na'Vi, or at least nothing too sizable. Funnick has leeched enough to find his level 6 though, so there could be some setup if they overcommit. Vanscore rotating over, no 6 on him, so that Mystic Flare Chrono combo not online quite yet.
And even for old Sand King, he's not been stacking up a lot. He has been very active in terms of seeking out ganks and trying to prevent kills from happening, but without his Blink Dagger, without even... Ooh, top lane.
Top lane, yeah, BCZ gets bashed by Funnick. Out comes your Ice Path. Now Funnick drops the chrono. Support has arrived. Dendy's got a coil. They don't even need it. They'll have more than enough damage to bring him down. That makes it 4-0 now as Virtus Pro repelled. They keep their tier 2 safe, though. It did take a lot of damage when that was going down.
Yeah, at the same time, well, Lycan farming away. We haven't really talked too much about him. He has 1,800 gold. Could proceed to his Vlad's right now if he wanted to. And I mean, they could just easily do Roche, I'd say, at this point.
Yeah.
Really no contest from them, especially with Chronosphere down. But probably waiting a little bit, waiting for a better opportunity. The lanes to be pushed out. Maybe a couple more T1s to be taken down. Sidoik doing the double null blade mail. Man, the suboptimal number.
Yeah, and even with power trips too, so just going for this raw HP, the great thing about going the null tally into blade mail is just all the stats it gives you. Blade mail is a really strong item in terms of efficiency with stats and damage, so I expect these right clicks to be pretty scary. FNG stunning up a Christmas tree, and he'll just head to safety. Yeah, this Sand King, as you mentioned, not farming too well. 1,300 gold at 10 minutes is very lackluster, but speaking of farming, Lycan, he goes for a Midas. I'm surprised. I thought it would be a straight Vlad's for sure.
I thought it would be that as well, but with the blade mail instead of a mech, with a point booster instead of a mech or a pipe, it looks like they're gearing towards a little bit of the later game, which I don't think they have an advantage just because they don't have a great source of initiation. Maybe Ogre running in, maybe Jakiro with the Yules, but Jakiro is indeed support, as is the Ogre. Nature's Prophet, Veno, and Lycan don't really have a good way to initiate unless they're sieging a tower and forcing an opponent to go on them, but you don't really want to be in that position against a Sand King and a Faceless Void. You can just get caught out and straight up die before any cooldowns are popped.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. That sort of feels like it's playing into Navi's hand, where they obviously want to take this one late, or at least well into the mid-game way. They can get their Blink Dagger up on the Sand King, let this Void come online a little bit, and get that Blink Dagger on Dendi, and he's damn close. He's only about 200 gold away, and as you mentioned, that could potentially be a turning point in terms of momentum, as that tends to be when Dendi will really start making the plays happen. But let's take a glance at net worth, see how things are faring. Dendi is topping the charts, but Lycan nipping at his heels. Up top, we'll see BZZ get initiated on. Funnick has an ultimate if needed. Arrow from Havos from downtown connects, and it's a kill on the Veno. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, another fight breaking out. Dream Coil flies through. They found the kill on Lycan. Yol connects with a stun on Vanscore. They won't dive the tower, and the big fatty Ogre lives. Now Sadoy coming in. They want the turn. They'll find it on the Skywrath. Still not a great trade for the Dire side, and it will be Na'Vi that come out ahead, even though they lose that bottom tier 1 tower.
Now Blink Dagger up on Dendi. The aggression can tone up a lot, especially once they get one on FNG. He's farming bottom lane, just 400 gold until his.
Yeah. So Na'Vi in pretty good shape now, glancing at the graphs. Still about a 1,500 gold lead for Virtus Pro, but you have to remember it's 2-0 in total tower count. So once those initial money bags on the Dire side of the map go down, Na'Vi will start to close that gap. Mid lane, Funnick hops in, short the mana he needs for the Chronosphere, not going to have it anytime soon. And now the follow-up from Virtus Pro coming in. Dendi hops forward, finds the kill on the Prophet. Out comes the ultimate from Skywrath Mage. Yol in some trouble, he goes down as well. It's a quick 2 for nil. BZZ on the run, shot him, throws out the Macro Pyre, but to little avail. That makes it 8-1 as Na'Vi gaining significant momentum here, Merlini.
And Dendi survives that tail.
Oh, wow. Double digits.
Man, VP just scrounging to even get any sort of tower, and here you kind of have to question the Midas from Lycanthrope.
Yeah. Exactly. This is that time in the game where they should be able to take team fights. They have the pushing advantage and at least knock down these tier 1 towers to get an edge moving into the mid game. But instead, the opposite is happening. That was about a 1,500 net worth change in favor of Na'Vi. Now we see the Blink Dagger on Sand King. So the Blink brothers are in full effect. The team fight presence is there. And sure, now we see the Vlads on Lycan, but it's not going to be as easy for him just to disappear into the Roche pit. He might be able to get away with it, but it won't come for free as Na'Vi are starting to tone up that aggression, with Dendi now even finding his level 11 and getting that Dream Coil that much more potent.
Imagine if Funnick had mana for Chronos here in that fight too. That would have just been a massacre.
And Dendi mid taking some harassment here. Ice Path flies through, but he'll be okay. Meanwhile, in the Radiant jungle, FNG gets dusted, takes a stun from the Ogre. G in the wolf form coming in. We'll try to click him down, but Dendi's there with the Dream Coil. Can't quite get the positioning that they need to keep the Sand King alive. And now Sidoi coming in. Aggressive TP forward. Goes in onto Vanscore. Pops the Blade Mail, but out comes the Moonlight Shadow. Chronos here now from Funnick. Connects on 3. The Mystic Flare comes in onto G. That'll be a kill there. Or will it? Down goes the Lycan. It'll cost him their Void. But Virtus Pro taking heavy damage. Mirana right in the middle of the fray. Now takes the ultimate from the Venomancer. Stands his ground as long as he can. But it's Virtus Pro that find the fight until Dendi reinitiates out on the Jano. A triple kill for Dendi. Multicast from Yol. Dendi now looking to chase it down. The Ogre, he may be tanky, but it's looking grim. He'll survive this onslaught. Soon to be a full 5-man wipe on the side of Virtus Pro as the hometown hero Dendi finds an ultra kill.
What a disaster for VP. Now I think they just have to switch to farming mode with a Midas and just forego getting that T1 in mid. That one is so crucial to them accessing their jungle, doing Roshan, picking up a mech at some point, and just falling short of that. Too many Blink Daggers. Now they have one up on Sand King. He wasn't even involved in that fight, and things are just going from bad to worse for VP.
And now looking at the graph, net worth just about zeroed out, and experience almost 5,000 in favor of Na'Vi. And as you sort of pointed out, the Na'Vi draft hasn't even really hit their stride yet. We haven't seen this amazing Wombo combo so far. It's just been a mixture of ults and kind of superior positioning around the map. But once we see that huge 5v5 cataclysmic engage, I'm not sure how Virtus Pro can handle it. And, you know, Veno, it's an interesting item build going for the fast Aghanims, but so far it hasn't paid off, and I don't know that the damage boost he'll get out of it is really going to help. He's already got the 2 tanky pieces, and wasn't enough to keep him alive in that fight.
Uh-oh, Funnick knows that they're in Roshan, or expects it.
They don't have a Moonlight Shadow for another 30 seconds, so they can't be too sneaky with it, but speak of the devil, Vos now has a Maelstrom out, so this Mirana getting pretty strong. The Chronosphere also down for another 20. It looks like this will be an uncontested Roshan for Virtus Pro, and Lycan will grab himself the second life in the Aegis.
And, I mean, FNG has the potential to make huge plays here in the next team fight. He can't get hit by a Venom Ward, can't get scattered out by Wolves, but if he lands at Epicenter, could be the death of VP since they don't have any defensive items besides a Blade Mail and some HP from
Down
PBs.
bottom, Havost gets the kill on the tier 1 tower. Wolves looking for the deny, but can't time the last hits, and Havost walks away a little bit richer. Actually takes a lot of damage in return as Jakiro puts some liquid fire on him. Meanwhile, Vanscore getting some more ward victories here in the bottom lane. And, well, as that happens, Virtus Pro finish off the last tier 1 tower for Na'Vi, and of course that is in the mid lane here. So getting a little bit of a gold boost, but Moonlight Shadow's been deployed. FNG hiding in the tree line. If Virtus Pro stuck around a little bit longer, that could have been devastating as the Sand King was looking to set the trap. Arrow flying in from downtown, connects on Yol. There's your Mystic Flare to follow up. The damage is there. They've got the kill on Ogre. Now G goes in, full wolf form, looking to click down Vanscore, but the rest of the fight breaking out inside of the lane. Chronosphere out on 3. Will they have the damage to bring him down? BZC, too tanky for Funnick, and in comes the cavalry. That's a good fight for Virtus Pro. It's a 1 for 3, a double kill for Sidoi, and finally the exchange they were looking for.
Wow, they didn't actually have any damage to follow up on that Faceless Void. Had Sand King waited with his ultimate up the hill, they would have just wiped the 3 of them. But it looks like the mass HP build from Venomancer is actually paying off.
Yeah. Paid off in that one, at least. Is now Ghost coming in, trying to do some solo work. In comes Dendi, finishes off the Venomancer. Now G in hot pursuit, hops to the orb, jumps right onto Sidoi, uses the Blade Mail, but to little avail. Pavos taking a lot of damage. Out comes the Dream Coil. The Wolves will still chase him down. Can they find the kill? The Venom Ward even helping him out. Meanwhile, on the backside, G takes an Ancient Seal, and they will find the kill on the Mirana. Veno, he gets credit for it with the poison. Now FNG coming forward, Burrow Strike onto G. There's your orb. They'll use a dust, but it won't be enough, and The Aegis will get procced. Lycan coming back to life. Can they find any kind of return kill? No, they won't even go for it. Instead, the Wolves will chase down FNG, takes a bottle charge, and he'll be just fine.
Still 2 towers down for VP. Very big engaged by them, and maybe once they get the Scepters, they can out-damage Na'Vi in these team fights, but these Blink Dagger initiates are proving to be a huge nuisance for them, and that was actually a pretty good initiate for Na'Vi with the arrow onto Ogre, immediately killing Yo with the Mystic Flare. And I mean, I'm still flabbergasted that they haven't picked up a mech or a pipe, or even made a move to make one.
Yeah, I absolutely can't argue. Instead, they're prioritizing tankiness. Ogre will be moving into an Aghanim Scepter. A great item on him, has the point booster, so 1,300 hit points on this support. Just ridiculous how tanky he is. Looks like the Nature's Prophet, he'll be moving into an Oblivion Staff. Of course, that will lead to an Orchid. So continuing on with this high stats, very right-click heavy build, and already hitting for 150 a pop. Sadoy is definitely going to be playing that tertiary carry role. Mid lane, G in some trouble, and they'll have more than enough damage to lock down the Lycan, and so much magic damage burst, and that's where you look towards something like a pipe. Not necessarily in that little skirmish, but just in team fights, so much damage can be mitigated.
Or BKB.
Or BKB, yeah.
So Venomancer does have his Ags completed at level 9. That is
it's fairly...
a rarity. They just haven't been able to pick up that many levels. They haven't gotten too many kills or name having Na'Vi's kills. Experience graph looking pretty ugly at 7,000. Gold just about par though.
Yeah. Gold zeroed out again. There's a big tower disparity as they've lost 2 tier 2 towers, they being Na'Vi, and they've only taken out 2 tier 1s. So they will try and take a tower here, but initiation in the jungle right onto FNG. Jotum setting it up. Arrow from Havost will connect. Sadoy throwing out the right clicks. Havost finishes off the tower. Now Moonlight Shadow's been deployed. FNG will survive. Meanwhile, on the other side of it, Havost on the run. Takes an Ignite. No TP scroll. And Moonlight Shadow pretty soon to expire. Can he make the great escape? And it looks like he'll be successful. They won't have any detection to track him down. Do they not have any dust left? Well, we'll have to hold that thought as Arrow comes in. That's a Hex on Dendi. They'll turn the Venomancer into a Piggy. Looks like bacon could be for dinner. He survives long enough to get off the ultimate. Murana will go down as the DOT from Yol ticks him down to death. And Dendi just barely dodges the Ice Blast. Will be able to orb down to the low ground and get himself a bounty room. But 20-minute Hex on Dendi here.
9-0 and 5. He's godlike.
Oh my gosh. And he's level 15. Highest level in the game.
And VP drafting this heavy push doesn't leave that many room for disables, and not, I guess maybe once they get the Orchid on Nature's Prophet, but at that point...
Up top, Yol gets initiated on by the Burrow Strike. Dendi coming over, turns him into a Piggy. Sadoy comes in, and that'll be enough to zone them out to keep his friend alive. And FNG still considering going for this. Blinks forward, looks for the Burrow Strike, finds it on the Ogre, and gets the kill after all.
Man, FNG, no mana for a TP though. I guess he can just sheep and run away unless he gets Orchided first.
Yeah, he's in some trouble. Sadoy probably going to be able to click him down. Soul Burn may be enough to find the kill here. Nope, not quite. And just trying to move around the trees. There's the clear vision, but FNG with the Ukes! Hops over the tree line and he'll be able to scurry his way to safety.
I'm surprised Sadoy didn't stick a little bit closer to the Ogre. If he had waited for the blink, I think he could have Orchided and maybe they can turn around and actually kill the Sand King. But not really being bros in that matter.
Yeah. Well, BKB now up on Havost Murana, so he'll be a lot tankier now, especially against that of the Ogre, though there was a change recently. The Venomancer buff the ultimate rather, will still go through BKB. The damage doesn't, but the buff does apply, or I guess debuff as really it is. So, minor buff for Venomancer, but in the end, not that big of a deal. Still a very valuable item for the Murana. Funnick also finding his Mask of Madness, so...
Is that all he has?
Yeah, Funnick hasn't really been farming all that much. I mean, his net worth is about on point with the Sand King, so Navi's been prioritizing the farm kind of away from this Faceless Void. He's just been kind of a Chronosphere machine.
Yeah, I mean, he gets Venom ulted, he's probably going to die with Mask of Madness on.
Yeah. Well, there's your BKB on the Lycan. So we talked about Pipe or BKB being viable options for Virtus Pro, and well, that's a step in the right direction, but I don't think anyone else is even close to a BKB at this point. No one even working towards one.
At this point, Na'Vi can probably build a Pipe too and just nullify so much of VP's damage.
Yeah, a lot of that Veno damage. Great item against that hero.
Even multicast, liquid fire, dual breath. There's a lot to block.
Yeah. Absolutely. So still surprised that neither side has got a mech. We've talked about Virtus Pro, but even Na'Vi could utilize one here. We'll see initiation onto Funnick. The Orchid comes in. They'll have enough to bring him down. On the other side of the fight, though, Venomancer gets dropped right away. It's a 1-for-1 out of the gate. Virtus Pro now getting jumped on. The Moonlight Shadow flies out, but Skywrath Mage goes down. Host will jump to safety, as will Dendi. Throws out a defensive coil. They burn a dust, and they find FNG, but he's able to blink into the trees. TP home. Jadam won't stop him, and that's where the fight will end. A 1-for-2, a good fight for Virtus Pro, but they'll need a little more than that to regain momentum in this game.
They need more farm on Faceless Void at this point. His life is actually a liability. He got multicast from full to half, and then Orchid, and then just straight die without being able to do anything.
Yeah, he really needs a BKB.
Yeah, or just Maelstrom, even more damage so that he can do more damage before he dies, but
he may be looking towards an Aghanims this game. They have so much dump into the Chrono, looking towards just getting it on that lower cooldown. Could be a pretty viable option and will help tank him up a bit.
Yeah, it would be nice. I think BKB is slightly better for him just because Nature's Prophet is going to continue to be a problem for him.
Up top, Havost and Sadoy going blow for blow. Will be forced to BKB. Great use of the Treants. Will intercept the arrow, and Havost can't find the kill. That's his 10-second BKB charge right there. And Sadoy will live to tell the tale as Dendi almost joins the party in time to interrupt that TP out.
I think he actually could have. He orbed like almost right next to him. If he had orbed to like 600, 700 range and then dropped the Scythe of Ice on him, I think it would have been a death. But all in all, Sadoy still doing pretty well.
Now the gem picked up on Jakiro. They have been lacking on detection a little bit. They've had dust kind of intermittently, now some on the Venomancer. A little bit of a gamble pick though. Virtus Pro not really in the best position in terms of steamrolling a team fight. So of course handing a gem over to Na'Vi, it could be bad news at this stage in the game. Is FNG, what are you up to, you sneaky devil? Very aggressive positioning here. I'm maybe looking for like a solo kill if somebody presses forward, but G has a 10-second BKB ready to rock and roll. That will not be an easy pickoff.
Yeah, they're gonna have to Epi Blink and maybe go in with the Hex after, or Arrow, or something to keep him locked down, but looks like he's gonna give up the jig, afraid of those pesky wolves.
Yeah, they'll chase him down and be irritating as FNG scouts out the Roche pit. It's going to be a very long respawn, close to the max timer.
G gets
Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Lycan gets caught by the Chrono, and all that follow-up damage. Dendi even utilizing the Dream Coil to lock him in place. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Havost in some trouble, gets Orchid, forced to BKB again, goes in for some right clicks onto Sadoy, gets a Maelstrom proc, and actually doing a lot of damage here. Whiffs the arrow, but the BKB enough for him to repel a 1 versus 3.
Especially versus the Lycanthrope, or with the Lycanthrope down, he has no reason to be scared.
Jadam goes down now as the Epicenter flies through from FNG. A good pick off there, and it ends up being a 2-for-0 across this kind of long exchange. And now Na'Vi may look to put some pressure on this tier 2 bottom, but the army of Plague Wards already stacking up here, Merlini, and that'll make their push a little more difficult.
At the same time, VP doesn't really have good control of Roche yet at this point, and Lycan, if he's off on his own, just gets picked off, even if he does have a BKB, and things are, the problems are mounting. VP.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And now the mech is complete on Skywrath Mage. We'll have to stop by the home security deposit box to pick it up, but speak of the devil, in comes Sadoy, throws out the Orchid, but Vanscore will TP home. Soulburn in the well. Now won't be nearly enough damage, and now has the mech, so Na'Vi with an even bigger team fight advantage now. Item progression on the Dire side, haven't seen too much more since that BKB on the Lycan.
Well, here it goes. They know that they're heading to the Roach Pit. Funnick had vision from the high ground, Sanking in a very fantastic position to go on this, but no Epicenter yet.
Yeah, still could set it up with a big burrow strike as they're all clumped up in this tiny corridor. The rest of Na'Vi starting to converge around the pit, but they don't have a Chronosphere for another 10 seconds. The damage isn't coming out fast enough as VP seem very hesitant to commit to this. But this time is giving Na'Vi what they need to get in position and make it happen. Double damage on Havost. Chucks an arrow, won't connect with anything, but in comes Funnick. There's a Chrono on 3, connects on FNG as well. Jadam stuck outside, but now your Mystic Flare flies through. Venomancer ultimate comes out, but Na'Vi with just the superior hit point pools here, cutting them down. They'll trade a 3-for-1. It's Virtus Pro that come out ahead. It's a full team fight the other way. Oh my gosh, Merlini, it looked like Na'Vi were going to take that, but the Poison Nova just crippling them.
They didn't actually have any damage to follow up in the Chronosphere, and Funnick had a pretty decent one, 3 of them being hit, but Sand King didn't have Epicenter up, and they really wanted to contest the Roshan, but VP, with that very well fortified position, with the Wars easily disabling the Blinks, man, he's got obliterated.
Yeah, all of a sudden they're right back in this game. The mech was even used by the Skywrath Mage. That's where you look at, hey, a pipe would have made a big difference in that fight, but not only did Virtus Pro get a big exchange out of that, a 1 for 5, they get the Roche, and now another Aegis on their Lycanthrope. And all of a sudden, they're right back in this game. The gold grab just about zeroed out, experience only 6,000, and that's a lead that's still closable. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Sadoy, he'll get caught out, trying to do the split push, and will distract them long enough for the rest of his teammates to finish off the tier 2 tower bottom lane. But still, pretty good news for Virtus Pro.
Who needs defense when you have offense? Man,
Yeah.
VP, so much damage. I underestimated their damage output.
Yeah, we'll see what item build Lycan moves into now. He's got 3,600 gold, and I'm rather curious where he'll go, but here's the huge item pickup.
I think. Heart would be really good for him. It just allows him to just, hey, you want to Chrono me? Okay. And then just shrugs it off. Faceless Void doesn't do that much damage, and all the rest is magic.
Here's the big one, though, on the Ogre Magi. Grabs himself the Aghanim Scepter. And now with that double Fire Blast, boy, does it get dirty. He's level 14, soon to be 16. And that's when you have that RNG chance of a back-to-back multicast on those Fire Blasts. Oh boy, it gets ridiculous.
Yeah, the big discrepancy here is Faceless Void. He is number 7 in terms of farm, almost being doubled up by his counterpart, Nature's Prophet in the offlane.
Yeah.
And he almost has Necro 3 at this point on NP, and Funnick is just working on God knows what after his Mask of Madness.
Well, 2,800 gold, I think it almost has to be a BKB at this point. We've seen how much magic damage Virtus Pro can put out and how crucial his ultimate is to the success of these team fights for Na'Vi. And BKB will make that a possibility for him. Venomancer now getting a blink after his Aghanim, so going into mobility, making sure he can get in position to get off that Poison Nova and play the kamikaze role if he has to.
But no one can really go toe-to-toe with Venomancer. Maybe Havos with his BKB, but without BKB, he can't engage in right-click war with Venom. He'll just destroy him with the amount of magic damage that his Ags and the rest of his spells produce.
Yeah. Looks like G moves into an Assault Karas here, so not the heart you were hoping for, but still a great team fight item, great pushing item. Maybe not the best this game, as so much of Navi's damage is based around magic. I mean, the Havos right clicks are starting to add up, but even him with the Mjolnir, he does a little bit of magic damage himself.
Yeah, I would say Heart's a little bit better, but it's way more offensive. You can see towers a lot quicker with the Lycanthrope minus armor, but the minus armor doesn't really synergize well with anyone else on his team either.
Yeah,
maybe Veno. I mean, he has 91 right-click damage with Vlad's.
Yeah, I guess the Nature's Prophet is as close as it comes. He's hitting for about 200 in auto attack. Now has a Necro book out, sitting level 2, soon to be level 3. So the pushing power for Virtus Pro is getting pretty scary, and we're almost at that point where if Na'Vi take another bad team fight, Virtus Pro will be able to punish quite hard by knocking down some of those tier 3 towers.
Yeah, they can't really catch him by surprise too with his Necro 3 coming up soon. The gem already online for Mr. Ogre.
Yeah, looks like Na'Vi want to pressure this tier 2 tower top, but Virtus Pro already in position to do a bit of pushing down in the bottom lane. Wolves just chipping away at the tier 3 as Sand King comes in to clear it up. There is a smoke from VP, and they won't get too aggressive, hoping that Na'Vi may step too far out of their base, but they will not spring the trap.
So what's your game plan for Na'Vi as far as team fights go? VP eventually, they're either going to force a team fight in a Roshan or at a T3, and Na'Vi, what do you hope for if 3 people don't clump up for a Chronosphere? Do you pick off Lycan before BKB? Do you try and kill Nature's Prophet with his Orchid on? Do you try and kill Ogre, who has 1800 HP? Do you try and kill Veno before his ult?
I think looking at this, trying to lock down this Veno is where it's at, but speak of the devil, the most up in the tree line here will get Orchided. BKB, TP back to safety, and he'll live, but that BKB now down to 6 seconds. He's had to use it so defensively this game. Hasn't really gotten a lot of value out of it. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Lycanthrope, he's thinking about something. FNG comes in, uses his stun a bit aggressively. Ogre flies through, and FNG just gets chopped down. G even uses his BKB here, going in on advanced score, getting some crits to start things off, doing a lot of damage, but the mech flies through, and Big Wolfie will not be able to find the kill. Havos chucking an arrow, but will not be on the mark.
I'm surprised he didn't pursue a little bit further. He had Aegis. I guess maybe he's scared of getting chronoed right there.
Close to expiration, I think, is the big thing. It's about 15 seconds away. So, afraid of committing and then not having that second life, perhaps. Up top, Jotum will get jumped on. Funnick has the Chronosphere, but shouldn't need it here. Will find a bash, and more than enough to bring down the twin-headed dragon as Na'Vi strike right back with a support pick-off of their own.
So Funnick finally picking up another item with the BKB. This puts them just about even to Venomancer's farm, who is actually severely slowed down past his Scepter, too.
Yeah, the item progression for BZZ has been lackluster, and even his experience. He's now the lowest in the game at level 12, and that's a hero that you really want to get your level 16 on kind of quickly, especially with that Aghanim Scepters. It's a pretty big boost in overall damage.
Yeah, they've been killing him every time in fights, and maybe he's just relying on superior positioning with Blink Dagger in order to keep his arse alive, but
yeah.
Defensive items, man. Mech, Pipe, so good.
Both teams benefit so much from a Pipe. It just sounds like a broken record, but it's a true point. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Yol gets jumped on. BZZ comes right in, but the silence from Dendi is there. Yol in trouble. He'll go down. They get the stun on BZZ. They'll finish him off before the Poison Nova comes out. It's a quick 2-0. The silence from Dendi proving too damn effective. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Vanscore trying to TP home, but the crits from G will bring him down. It's a 1-for-2 across the map. Navi gets a tier 2 tower in the top lane, and now looks like they're pushing forward towards the tier 3 perhaps, and no, they will back up as Virtus.pro get in position to defend.
They got that gem though. Dendi carrying Ogre's gem.
Oh, that's a big pick.
It's a super big pick. Now they can actually go back to what they were doing before, which is Moonlight Shadow, Blink Hex, Leap, Faceless Void with Chronosphere, and just get quick picks with Skywrath, which was, they're supposed to be their strength in the mid game. FNG
down bottom, he's in big trouble. The Orchid comes out, a beautiful Sprout. He's got the Necro Book to reveal the Sand King, and yeah, no Sandstorm will keep you safe from that.
I mean, Sedoy's just been performing fantastically on this Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, he's been all over the place. 7, 4, and 7. His farm is out of control. Almost #1 on net worth, which is, or pardon me, he's #3 right now, but very impressive farm given that he's not that far behind the Lycan, and Lycan had a 9-minute Midas, so that just speaks to how many pickoffs he's found and how much room he's found around the map to get some stray farm.
And surviving in a lot of these fights where damage is just flying out of every which way.
Yeah, I mean, the Null Tally, Blade Nail, and Power Treads do give you a fair bit of tank ability, but still, pretty impressive stuff. So, looks like Skywrath Mage will take heed to our advice here, and moving in towards a Pipe, has the headdress and now a cloak. So I like the itemization from Navi, and very smart choices here. Dendi moves into the other Mystic Staff item, gets himself a Shiva's Guard, and it's already been completed, so good bit of right click on this puck, nearing 200, a huge mana pool, and now just a lot of utility in the Shiva's Slow, and of course the Hex of that site.
And a kill on Funnick here. He does have BKB. If he suspects something's up, BKB TP, easy TP out without a basher on Lycan. Speaking of Lycan, recently completed his AC. Roshan, we'll see the respawn timer in just about 10 seconds time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a quicker one. When the Aegis respawned, it popped up 6 minutes, so... Oh, no, it's a maximum. Pardon me, my math is way off. That's actually a maximum Roche respawn, so... Bad news for Virtus.pro, I'd say. As
Caster's
that have
curse.
Yeah, the Caster's curse, dude. Oh, God. But, up top, it's the initiation onto Sedoy, gets caught out. There's the Hex from Dendi, the silence, and yeah, they should have more than enough to bring down the Nature's Prophet. And they'll certainly do so. Now 3,500 gold up on Funnick, so he's actually starting to come online as a carry on this Void. Probably a Maelstrom in his future, but we'll see what he wants to do. I still think Ags might not be the worst idea. It did get kind of indirectly buffed as the cooldown for Chronosphere was nerfed. Now the Ag Scepter is a little bit more valuable.
Refresher.
Or Refresher, yeah.
Or Maelstrom. I guess they don't really need him for damage though. They just need to survive and let the magic dealers do the work during the initial Chronosphere, and then just try and pick everyone off one by one with Puck in the end. Basher will be secured on Lycanthrope, but at the same time, he's probably going to get kited, even if he BKBs, which is only 7 seconds at this point. He can just get kited by Chronosphere. Pawn him has Leap. Mirana has 2 ways to get out of it. Sand King. Lycan does not have a Necro 3, so he's fairly difficult to kill too. So Skywrath is only easy target during BKB.
Yeah, well, I think he'll go into the full Abyssal, and that'll definitely make his life a lot easier for those straight pickoffs here and there. But Pavost, now with the full Butterfly completed, 36 minutes in, his farm is looking pretty impressive. Also, top lane Funnick doing a little bit of the Rat Dota, split pushing a bit, and maybe able to do a little chip damage to this tower, but nothing too significant. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Vanscore gets jumped on. We'll be able to TP out to safety. FNG taking a lot of damage, will TP out, but the Soul Burn almost enough to bring him down in the well. He gets healed up by Vanscore, and the mech absolutely necessary to his survival. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Funnick and Jotum going kind of blow for blow here, and he will do some decent damage to this tower. Arrow from downtown connects onto Jotum. In comes Funnick, connects with a Chronosphere onto 1. They find the kill on the Jakiro. Yol taking a lot of damage. He'll probably go down. Now the BKB's used. Sedoy joining the party. G's here as well. BZZ pops the ultimate, does a lot of damage, finds the kill onto Havost as Funnick moves into the tree line with the time walk, will TP to safety. And Na'Vi, they get a decent trade out of it, but it is a little sloppy.
And it's not even the best trade. They don't kill the Lycan and they don't kill the Venom or the NP, all of which are pretty big factors at this point in the game.
Yeah, still getting a gold gain out of it, however, and well, they don't lose too many of their core heroes outside of that of Mirana. And I feel like it's sort of an odd game for the Butterfly almost. Good against the Lycan, obviously, but we've talked about all this magic damage, and well, Evasion doesn't do a hell of a lot against Poison Nova or all that damage Jakiro puts out.
Oh, what else was he supposed to get at this point? Lifesteal, maybe?
Yeah, Lifesteal could be good. I think even just raw HP is not so bad.
Yeah, Manta style even.
Yeah, Manta sounds pretty good, and I don't know that a Scotty is that crazy of a choice on a Mirana in a game like this.
It doesn't really do anything versus Lycan though. It does give him a lot of HP.
Gives him a lot of HP and does give him utility on all the other heroes. You're right about Lycan, but still some decent utility. I think as long as you can sort of outlast the Veno ulti, you're in pretty good shape. We'll see. The pipe very close to completion now onto the Skywrath Mage. Has the 2 core pieces just waiting on the recipe as Roshan, number 3, has respawned, goes down uncontested. 3rd time for Virtus Pro. Aegis of the Immortal picked up by the Lycan, and Sidoi does grab the yummy cheddar.
Yeah, and going back to Havost's item build, Scotty, yeah, is decent, but I don't know. The Nature's Prophet ultimate is going to do more and more. He's still not even level 16 yet, and as you said earlier, he was the lowest hero in this game, and Lycanthrope finally completing his Abyssal Blade, finally maybe able to kill Puck and just grab that extra money. Money.
Yeah, Dendi, 11, 1, and 12. I'm not sure when he died. I don't know how long of a streak he's on right now.
He died of that wipe in Roshan.
Oh, yeah. So it's still a decent streak they've got on him. Looks like FNG is going for a BKB of his own on this Sand King, so just trying to mitigate some of that magic damage and make sure he can channel out that Epi mid lane. Vanscore jumped on as BZZ sets it up. Vanscore just tries to TP home, but this time it won't happen. Sidoi's there with the Orchid. They'll have more than enough damage to bring him down. Just a quick pick for Virtus Pro. And they'll press forward now as Jakiro gets a huge item on him. The Yule Scepter on Brown Boots makes setting up for that Ice Path pretty damn easy.
Funnick has been scouted out by this Venom Ward, and not sure if VP wants to continue to push because they do have to deal with Chronosphere, but this is one way to deal with it. G on the left side.
He gets turned into a piggy, uses the BKB. Dendi will be able to orb back, and yep, Abyssal Blade comes out and won't be enough. Funnick, though, he just gets chopped down, uses the BKB before he falls. G takes an arrow and will just barely be able to live the 4x Bloodlust. Will keep him alive. Sidoi, with the Blade Mail on, returns a hell of a lot of damage to the Mirana and finds a kill there as he pops his ultimate. Ends up going down, but still a great trade for Virtus Pro. Now a buyback. Oh my gosh, Dendi just getting multicasted down by Yol so hard. The buyback from Funnick will keep Dendi alive for now. But Yol, can he come in and make something happen? There's the stun from the Sand King, and Yol, the tanky ogre, eventually goes down, but a damn close call for this Fairy Dragon as he walks away with just a couple hundred hit points to spare.
Nice teamwork by Na'Vi to keep him alive during that, killing the Necro Books that would probably have killed him with just a mana burn there. Not sure if it was up for Sidoi's book 3, but Dendi in a lot of danger, and Na'Vi just not respecting Lycanthrope's damage output right now.
Especially Funnick. He ran in there and kind of decided to face check it, and even used his BKB in kind of a panic mode as if that does anything against the crits of the Lycan. And yeah, he felt the pain. But following that, successful cleanup for Na'Vi. Sand King will use buy his BKB, and Dendi will secure his BOT. So now obviously a bit more mobile and can defend against that split push a little more effectively. So even though Na'Vi do make a kind of successful clean, Funnick had to buy back for that. So not only was that costly for his net worth, but of course it will be on cooldown for 6 minutes, and he did invest in an Aghanim Scepter.
At the same time, VP didn't use their Aegis or their Cheese for that fight, and they still have 2 minutes left in case they want to push down mid, but at this point it's far too risky considering how how poorly last fight went and how far away it is from their vantage point.
Yeah, they will smoke up though, so perhaps looking to get aggressive. They ping out the bottom lane, looking for a gank on Funnick. I think they, recognizing his buybacks on cooldown, they just want to pick him off, and if he's stuck in the grave for 90, 100 seconds, quite possibly they could look to break the high ground, especially without a Chronosphere As we've mentioned before, that's a key facet for the Na'Vi lineup, and here we go. Smoke will be revealed. Shakiro comes in. There's the Yule set up right into the ice path. Funnick in big trouble. Out comes the Abyssal. They don't stagger the stuns, but they don't need to. They find the kill right away. 100 seconds of Void in the grave. FNG comes in. They use the Moonlight Shadow. Where's the detection? They just don't have it. Now FNG with his BKB on. They'll throw down his sentry, and the BKB will keep him safe as he burrow strikes to the low ground and blinks to safety. Still 85 seconds of no Chronosphere, a big net worth swing for Virtus Pro. Can they break high ground here, Merlini?
I think so. Fates is Void. I mean, he just needs to keep this Lycan in check.
Well, here we go. FNG comes in, does a lot of damage, but takes a lot in return. Goes down straight away. They get a kill on the Shakiro, but they've already lost their tier 3 tower. G in the front lines, doesn't have an ultimate for another 18, has the Aegis for a little while longer, but this will be a lane of barracks. Na'Vi getting cleaned up, a triple cast onto Havos. He gets turned into a piggy. Bacon's on the menu tonight, Merlini. The double kill for Sadoy. The bottom lane of barracks get cleaned up, and already G headed to the mid lane. The glyph comes out for Na'Vi. Now the buyback from Havos. But this is disastrous. Virtus Pro might be able to find a victory against Natus Vincere. The fight will continue on. BZZ jumps in, takes an Orchid straight away, gets off the ultimate though, goes kamikaze mode. G will go down, still has the Aegis. It was soon to expire, so a great time for him to get picked off. They'll stick around long enough to finish off this mid lane of barracks. Now G pressing forward, ultimate on, Skywrath Mage goes down, also goes down Dendi. Now Na'Vi really in big trouble. They're on the back foot, the buyback from Dendi, but there's only 2 alive. Void's still down for another 20 seconds. This will be Megas. Virtus Pro seconds away from upsetting Na'Vi. They get a double cast on Havos. Dendi doing everything he can to stay in this game, but now the Hex is out on Sadoy. Havos uses the BKB, hops back to safety, stands his ground as long as he can, but he goes down. Now FNG back in the fray, gets the stun on Yol. Dendi coming in for the cleanup, and Virtus Pro may still be repelled, but there it is, the GG. Na'Vi tap out, and Virtus Pro looking damn hot on their home court.
They look good, and that's the thing about their draft. All they need to win is one or two big fights, most notably the Roshan fight, where they just demolished Na'Vi, and then after that it's just like boom, 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 tower, tower, tower. They didn't even itemize that greatly, but it didn't even matter.
Yeah, I agree. They could have bought completely different items that would have been better on paper, but what an impressive display.
Funnick was actually slightly underwhelming. He's usually the anchor, or the whatever you want to call it. The most solid player.
Word,
yeah, the most solid player for Na'Vi.
The backbone.
The backbone. And I don't know where his item progression was after the Mask of Madness.